Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and we have something very interesting to take a look at today. This is a figure that I just recently had show up here to paint for a good buddy of mine, and it's something I was really interested in straight from the start, so I was pretty excited that he had ordered this and had it sent to me to get painted up because it was something that I really wanted to see in hand. This is the Rod's Random Work Indoraptor, and it is insanely cool. I have taken a look at quite a few of Rod's figures here in hand. Prior to this, I have put up a few videos of different figures that he has released, but I can definitely say that this is not only one of his best figures, but one of the coolest figures that I've ever seen. Like, it is really, really neat looking, and his base is definitely very unique, but works so well for the figure. Like, it's kind of like some straps and screws and stuff down there, but it holds the model on so nicely, and it just stays there perfectly and looks absolutely awesome. So let's go ahead, get a closer look at this super cool Indoraptor right now. Now, this figure comes unpainted, so if you do order this from Rod, you will have to paint it up yourself. Of course, I painted this one for my friend that wanted me to give it the kind of original Indoraptor colors, and I feel like it turned out okay. But you can see that up here on the head, we have some really, really nice detailing to the figure. With the eyes closed, the detailing there of the eyelids and everything is phenomenal. You also have the nostrils sculpted out up here at the tip of the snout. The teeth look very Indoraptor-like, just like they look in the film. It's kind of like, it gives me the feeling of like a younger version of an Indoraptor, potentially in like some sort of like a cryogenic sleep or something. And that obviously would also be like the positioning of the body. I could just imagine it floating in some sort of like a cryogenic chamber or something like that. But it looks honestly insanely nice as far as the sculpt and detail. You can see some beautiful like scoot-like scales there going back around, up over top of the eye and around the eye down here. Some really nice detailing in general as far as like the texturing to the skin of the figure, and you can also see like a slight tilt to the head right there as its head is leaning somewhat to its left. And then you can take a look over here at the opposing side. It also looks really nice again with the kind of sleeping look to the Indoraptor. It's beautifully done from a detailing standpoint. You also have kind of like that armored type of a look that you almost see on the back of the Indoraptor up here on the back, which looks really nice as well. And the area where like the quills would be popping up from, but the quills haven't grown in quite yet potentially on this Indoraptor. As you move down the course of the body, you can see some more really nice detailing there in the neck, almost like some tensing in the neck right here in the lower part of the neck right there. You can also see some skin kind of squished right there in the stomach region as the limbs are really pushing heavily into the stomach. You can even see the stomach kind of like pushing out a little bit because of the positioning of the body, really compressing the area of the stomach right there. The arms look super nice, just like they do on the Indoraptor in the film, nice and long and eerie looking. The texturing to the skin right there in the arms looks beautiful, as well as does just generally the structure of the arms. And you have those very nice looking, very creepy looking Indoraptor hands right there, as well as the beautifully sculpted out claws. Very nice positioning. I like that the hands aren't just hanging in one specific way, like the fingers are just kind of dangling in different areas, and it looks really, really creepy. Again, furthering the creepy look for the Indoraptor. You can see more of like the texturing to the skin down here on the underside, but also like more of the tensing and everything of the neck region right there. You can also see that the Indoraptor looks really quite thin here in the stomach region. You can pick up the rib cage right there, but also that the stomach is kind of sucked in there on the Indoraptor. And being that this is just kind of like Dr. Wu's experiment, I could imagine them probably not taking very good care of the animal, and that's actually quite nicely shown in the sculpt here by Rod. As you move down here into the thigh region, you can see some very nice muscle definition displayed in the thigh, as well as the calf region there as well. Nice bulging calf muscle. Moving down into the foot looks really, really cool, just like the Indoraptor foot as well looks like in Fallen Kingdom. And you can see that even the sickle claws nicely sculpted out there. And the claws just generally look like they're sharp, so they have a very realistic and lifelike appearance to them. And you can see the tail here dangling, again, more beautiful texturing to that skin there on the tail as the tail comes under the body in a really nice curve. And if you take a look now at the opposing side, the sculpt doesn't look too different over here compared to the previous side. You can see that the right arm is up in the air a little higher than the left arm, and the legs are in a slightly different position. So he has gone, the extra mile as far as making sure it looks different on this side compared to the other side, and given it that really nice, very lifelike appearance to it. But you can see the stomach a little bit more over here due to the fact that this arm's up a little bit slightly higher than the opposing side. But you can also see again how the skin is like scrunching up there in the stomach region, looking really, really nice. And you can also see how the back of the dinosaur looks. The spinal column looks really nicely elaborated here down the course of the sculpt of the body, and again has that almost like an armored like look like you do see on the Indoraptor in Fallen Kingdom. And you can again see more of that beautiful muscle definition right there, the really nice dangling foot sculpt, as well as that really cool tail right there. So the figure is absolutely phenomenal, and Rod really has given us an incredible collectible. If you are a fan of the Indoraptor, I highly recommend checking this out and ordering it. And he actually has just recently put some up on his Etsy store, so make sure if you are interested that you pick one of these up. And then of course we have that really cool base that he has included, which has like some straps and stuff. There's like big screws that are holding the Indoraptor in, and then there's like some straps that come up over, and you put the tail down in there and it holds it in really quite nicely. A very interesting and unique base that he has created, something that I have not really seen before, so that as well is just another awesome feature of this figure. And then once you actually get your Indoraptor, you just slide the tail in through those two right there, and it stands perfectly in its base with absolutely no balancing issues at all. So the entire product is just insanely cool. Now, as far as a size goes for our Indoraptor, there's not really much going on as far as a length compared to a height, because the length and height would be the same due to the positioning of the body. But for a height on the model, it's just a little under 5 inches, or right about 12.5 centimeters, somewhere in that range. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line in comparison to our Rod's Random Work Indoraptor, and you can definitely see that it looks really nice as far as a comparison goes with these figures, but you can also see that it does sport a bit of a smaller size. It's nothing overly huge. I would say it's a little smaller or similarly sized to the Reborn Fetus figures that they had released, and obviously has a very similar look to it in comparison to those Reborn Fetus figures, so potentially inspiration for this model from Rod, but definitely really nicely sized, as it's not anything that's going to take up too much room. It's not too small, but it definitely has a striking appearance overall. And if you happen to have any of Rod's other work, we have a few of the other figures that he has recently released here, down here at the bottom, as we have the Hatchling, Stegosaurus, Compsognathus, and Dilophosaurus figures. And you could see again in comparison to the Indoraptor that those are quite a bit smaller than the Indoraptor. I've just actually recently finished painting those figures down there as well for my buddy, so he's got quite a load of Rod's Random Work stuff coming his way, but you could definitely see again a comparison as far as the size goes. The Indoraptor is much larger than a lot of his previous work. So this really cool Indoraptor figure from Rod's Random Work is an absolutely phenomenal looking release from him, and is probably my favorite sculpt, I would say, that I've seen from him so far. I have taken a look at his larger Compsognathus figures, the kind of stylized versions, which were really neat. In the past, I have reviewed those, and I've obviously taken a look at a lot of his little hatchling figures, but I feel like the detailing aspect of his models just gets better and better and better with each and every release, and this Indoraptor one, being one of his newest, shows off just how insanely impressive his current level of detail is, because the actual texturing and fine detailing to this Indoraptor is just gorgeous looking, and shows how much Rod's Random Work continues to improve with each and every release, as this one I would say is, I'm going to go ahead and say it's my favorite from him so far. Like, it's super impressive in hand. I can definitely appreciate the fact that he's thinking outside the box as well as far as this figure goes, because it's definitely unique and very different, especially when you take into consideration the really neat base that it has. It's very different than most figures that you see, and I feel like he has done a great job as far as creativity goes, coming up with something like this that's so different from his previous work. And of course, the actual Indoraptor itself is very highly detailed and shows off the detail and just the positioning of the body brilliantly in the sculpt. Like, again, the area that I really like as far as the fine detailing goes would be like the stomach region, and how the thigh and the legs are so close together due to the positioning of the Indoraptor being held in an upright position. Like, it's really showing off how it's squishing the stomach region, and the stomach region is kind of like protruding, like sticking out around those areas. Like, very fine little details like that are what always impress me from sculptors, and I think that he has done a phenomenal job as far as making sure to pay attention to every ounce of detail and the positioning of the body that would be occurring for the, position of the body that it's in. Very nicely done on his part. Of course, the paintwork here was done by me, so your paintwork would be whatever you choose to do with it. So it's up to you how you want yours to look, but this is how I created mine for my buddy, again, giving it that kind of traditional Indoraptor coloration. So hopefully you guys like the paintwork, but the model is absolutely awesome. So if you are interested in this, I will include a link to Rod's Random Works Etsy store where you can purchase this for yourself. So make sure you head on over there, buy this fantastic Indoraptor, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.